Hey, how's it going? Hope all's well, and hope your guitar and music journeys are going famously. And today I have a little lead guitar lesson on how you can take that minor pentatonic scale that you've been working with and really jazz it up just by adding a couple things. We're going to add some half steps and maybe play the notes in a little different way. I just want to kind of take what you know and maybe just expand on it a little bit and add a couple of things and provide you some context so you could practice this. Now we're going to use a jam track in this lesson, and you could use any jam track for these concepts and devices, but we're going to use one that's in the key of A minor, and this is a really good jam track for this particular applications and concept because the chords are moving very slowly, and it's a real simple 1-4-5 12-bar minor key blues. All right, so I say this all the time. You're probably sick of me saying it, but it's so important to know the chords that you're soloing over, right? You have to know the chords. The key is only a part of it. It's really all about the chords. The chords are what's going to give you the full roadmap as far as soloing and improvisational avenues, okay? So we're in the key of A minor, and basically the chords on this track is just the one chord's an A minor 7, and the 4 is a D minor 7, and the 5 is an E minor 7. And here's a few scale suggestions. You could use over all the chords. You could use A minor pentatonic and blues. You could also use A natural minor scales, A Aeolian. And over the A minor chord, I'll even do some stuff where we're using A Dorian. That works nicely over that A minor 7th chord, and you're on that chord a lot. You have two options when soloing. You could play over what relates to all. That means no matter what chord is playing, you're using basically the same scale or same mode, or you can solo over each chord independently, what I call treating each chord as a separate event, where when you're on the A minor chord, you're using whatever, A minor pentatonic, A Dorian, A Aeolian. But when you go to that D minor 7th chord, you abandon that and you're playing, D, Aeolian, D minor pentatonic. And then over the E minor chord, you're abandoning that and you're following the changes. So a lot of guitarists, when they first start, they learn the minor pentatonic scale or the blues scale, minor pentatonic and blues scale. And that's awesome. And you're probably using that a lot. So if we play that in the basic box shape, A minor pentatonic looks like this. So the notes in that A minor pentatonic scale, it's important to know the notes in the intervals too, right? You have your root 1, which is your A, flat 3rd C, 4th D, 5th E, and flat 7 G. And then those notes just repeat. You could add that blue note in there, that flat 5, that E flat, and that scale, adding that blue note would look like this. And you always want to know where the root notes are in your scales. We have 3 A's there. Low E string, 5th fret, D string, 7th fret, high E string, 5th fret. And your blue note is that E flat is on that 6th fret of the A string. You also have it here on the 8th fret of the G string. So you always want to know where those notes are, especially the root note, because you want to resolve a lot of your licks. Circle back to that root, really drive that, A minor into the listener's ears. And I'll just show you a couple other scales just in that same position because we're going to be adding some notes. Because remember, when you're using that minor pentatonic scale, you're basically only playing, notes 3 frets apart or a minor 3rd, or you're playing notes a whole step apart, 2 frets apart, right? But those half steps, those 1 fret apart notes are really critical, and it's such a shame to leave them out because they can lead to all kinds of ideas and soloing opportunities. So I love adding them in there, playing other scales that have 7 notes in them. So just a couple things we can add right off the bat. You could play A Aeolian, A natural minor. In this position, that shape looks like this. Adding that B note, that second, that 9th, right? And we're also adding that flat 6, right? Here and here. Really important because it gives us those half steps that you don't have in minor pentatonic, right? You can also, A Dorian is also a great scale. Looks like this is only 1 note difference than A Aeolian, and that adds a major 6 instead of a flat 6. A Dorian over this position, A Dorian would look like this. That scale also adds in the 9, which is that B. But it also adds in this G flat note here, or F sharp, right? And you have it here too, right? So you get those half steps. And that makes such a huge difference in your soloing. And if you want to see these scales diagrammed out on paper, because sometimes it really helps to see them on paper and to see the root notes kind of in black and the blue notes in blue, and it really helps tie it all together. I can really help you with that. Click on the link in the YouTube description box below, and I'll send you a killer free video lesson and ebook. The ebook has over 29 scales diagrammed out. I have all kinds of soloing strategies, lessons in it. It's really killer. I'll also pair it with a video lesson, which will build on this and really help you in ways you could easily embellish your soloing and improvisation. And I'll send both of them to you for free. The video is not on YouTube, it's extended play. The ebook is killer. Just click on that link below. So this minor pentatonic scale, let me give you a couple of suggestions and some easy things you could do to really spice things up. Just taking what you know and maybe adding and moving around a little bit, right? So one of the things you'll hear me play at the end, by the way, for instructional purposes, I have the gain turned down and the delay off. I have a little crunchy sound for instructional purposes. As to the end of the video, I'll jam over this and show you those concepts as I'm playing over a track in real time, and I have more gain, and I also have a little delay on the lead channel, right? So you'll hear me play something like this. Okay, I'm using a bunch of different concepts there, but it's not very different than minor pentatonic. I'm just adding a couple of notes and playing the notes a little differently than you might be doing using that pentatonic scale, and that could lead to big solo statements. What am I doing there? I'm playing this arpeggio, right? It's not that different than what you might be playing if you're just using minor pentatonic, but I'm spacing the notes out more. All an arpeggio is the notes of a chord played separately. That's it. So I'm taking a minor 7th chord, A minor 7th, which is the root A, right? The flat 3rd, C, the 5th, D, E, and a flat 7, G. 1, flat 3rd, 5th, flat 7. That's the formula from any minor 7th chord. So I'm just playing those notes, right? And that's all in that minor pentatonic scale. But then what I'm doing is I'm repeating those notes an octave higher. So watch what I do here. I'm playing A, C, E, G. Then I slide up with that first finger, and I play A, C, E, G again. Same exact notes, but when you put them back to back, you start to get some cool sounding licks, especially if you play it maybe not so straight, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like an 8th note, but play it with a little bit more of like a doo-ba 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 doo, like a little bit more of a hop. But then what I did was I slid that last note, that G, back to that Dorian note, to that 6th, right, to that G flat. Vibrato it, and then I slid. See, using these slides, these long slides, you get some cool sounds. And I landed on that B note, which is that 9th, which is in Dorian and in Aeolian, but it's not in minor pentatonic. And that B note, right, adds a lot of drama, as you could hear. And that's a note that you could add anytime you're playing pentatonics that works in minor key, and it'll really open up the doors. And if you could do me a huge favor, if you haven't done this yet, please subscribe to the channel. You know, subscribing to the channel really helps me to keep bringing the content, and ring that subscription bell, because then you'll be notified when I have new lessons posted. Also, please leave me a comment below. Let me know how you like this lesson. Let me know what lessons you'd like to see in the future. And if you like this video, please smash that like button, give it a thumbs up, share it, and thank you so much for your support. So here's what we have so far. Remember, use that first finger to slide up. Really helpful. And then I just got a little lick to get me back to the A note, because that's my root note. And I want to end on that A to resolve it. And then, so we're right here basically in this minor pentatonic shape that you're used to. We're just taking the notes a little differently to outline the chord. And we're adding these little half steps. And it's really easy. And you could be doing this really fast, right? So check it out one more time. I'll do it slow. you could end that so many ways to get back to that A note playing. You do a little bend on that half step to get back to that A note. So try inserting that over the A minor chord, right? Because arpeggios always sound best when they're played over the corresponding chord. It's not going to sound as good if you play it over the D minor, E minor. Will it still work? Yes, because all those notes are in the scale. However, it's not going to sound as strong. So listen, again, train that ear, right? Listen for that A minor chord and try to get that. See, that time I'm just adding in the minor pentatonic notes, and then I'm sliding to grab the half steps. And then I did a little run down the blues scale to get back to my A. There's so many different ways you could take it, but you're kind of sandwiching in that arpeggio into the pentatonic scale. Then we're using a little of the Dorian, and then we're going back to the blues scale, and we're creating all this interest and all this cool sounds that you're not going to get just with minor pentatonic alone. And that's not a ding on minor pentatonic, because minor pentatonic is awesome. We could use it all the time. But why not add to it? Why not enhance it, right? Why not bring out these other flavors and moods to create interest and melody, right? And then go back to that riff and kind of repeat it and change it up. Maybe change the ending a little bit. So that time I added in a little half step bend to the blue note, or slide to that blue note, going again to that B, that 9, to get back to my A note. And one other thing too, keep in mind context. That's really important, because I talk a lot here about emphasis. We're emphasizing notes, right? Those strong notes. And you know, it's all about emphasis and it's all about context. When you're playing these things, you know, by yourself, and then as opposed to if you're playing them in a band or over a jam track, remember there's other things going on musically when you're playing them over a track. You know, there's a bass line, there's keyboard parts, right? There might be another rhythm guitar. So, you know, a lot of it is about, okay, what's going on in that context and what is the listener's ear dialing into, right? And so that's very, very important, that context. And it's also very important, the notes that you're emphasizing and you're trying to bring out when you're soloing. So just keep that in mind of what the other instruments are doing and what the chords are doing especially. Remember, I keep saying that it's so important to know the chords that you're soloing over, because that's going to give you the full roadmap to the lead guitar improvisational avenues. It's not just about the key. That's only a part of it. You really got to know the chords. So let's let that marinate a minute, okay? And I want you to practice it. At the end of this lesson, when it's all done, I'll play over the jam track and listen for the chords, and listen how I time that lick to come in over that A minor chord and how it sounds, and then I connect it to minor pentatonic or Dorian and natural minor, okay? And it's just this one little thing that you could start doing to get some different sounds and lead you off in a different direction. Hope this lesson helps you along in your guitar journey, right? Remember, your playing is an evolution. Enjoy, keep up all that hard work on those guitars. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because that really helps me to keep the content coming, and ring that subscription bell, and then you'll be notified when I have new lessons posted. And also click on that link in the YouTube description box below and get my killer free ebook with over 29 scales diagrammed out. Also, I'll send you a free video lesson with that on easy ways to embellish your soloing. Video lesson ebook for free, just click below. Thank you so much for checking out this lesson. Thank you so much for your support over the years and years. So appreciate it. Stay tuned, lots more great stuff coming. Keep up all that hard work on that guitar and keep having fun with it. Take care, rock on. See you in the next lesson.